Welcome to Aired Out, brought to you by Capitol Showplace Montpelier and Paramount Theater Barrie. At FGBtheaters.com, CW Print and Design in Barrie, at CWPrintDesign.com, Peak Entertainment, PeakDJ.com, Cruise Planners, your land and cruise experts. In Vermont, CruisePlanners.com, Donnybrook Fight Promotions of Williamstown, CBDCrave.com. Presented by CVTV, Public Access Channel 192 and 194, CVTV723.org, Fontaine Forestry and Millworks, Route 14 East Montpelier. Custom orders, rough, kiln dry, plain, tongue and groove, or shiplap. FontaineMillworks.com and Fly on the Wall Productions. Now, let's get aired out. .532 on a Wednesday night. You got Aired Out, presented by Gauthier's Quality Grounds and Maintenance in Orange. Jason Gauthier, man, this guy is so talented. No matter what it is you're thinking about, landscaping, mowing, he'll take very good care of you, as he does me. Fontaine Forestry and Millworks of East Montpelier. Custom orders. They do rough cut, plain, tongue and groove, shiplap, kiln dried, hardwood, and pine. Just to name a few things. FontaineMillworks.com. And our supporting sponsors, Peak Entertainment at PeakDJ.com, FGB Theaters, the Capitol Showplace in Montpelier, the Paramount Theater in Barrie, FGBtheaters.com. We're going to be there Friday night for the premiere of It. I'll be plugged in, broadcasting live, Aired Out. Will be on the sidewalk in front of the Capitol Showplace Friday evening. Come on out, win some great prizes, and enjoy the premiere of Stephen King's It on Friday night. Donnybrook Fight Promotions in Williamstown. Cruise Planners, yourvoyageplanner.com. Donna Sherman, your local land and sea travel expert, and CW Print and Design. Also, thanks to Tony Campos and Central Vermont Television, my new producer, Billy Waite, who is a super guy. You're going to be seeing him on the show here real soon. So Roger Hill's saying we might have some isolated thunder showers moving through the picture sometime tonight. But daytime highs today right into the mid-70s. Not bad. Tonight, we're down into the mid-40s, a little bit of patchy valley fog, some clouds. Any leftover showers will be exiting. And then Thursday, tomorrow, the pick of the week, as we've been telling you. Bright sunshine, blue skies after the morning fog. And daytime highs tomorrow only getting into the mid-60s. We got Baseball Hall of Famer Mike Piazza on the list today, the birthday list. 51 years old, 77 for Bubba Knight. Merrill Bubba Knight from Gladys Knight and the Pips. Martin Chambers from the Pretenders is 68. Bubba, by the way, 77. We have a release date for Bruce Springsteen's new film. Western Stars has been acquired by Warner Brothers and is going to roll out in theaters October 25th. I'm hoping to get over to FGB Theaters, either in Barrie or Montpelier for that. Neil Young and Crazy Horse coming out with a new album this fall. The album Colorado is going to be released October 25th. He's got his new single on there called Milky Way. Looking forward to hearing it. And The Who, they're playing new songs from their upcoming album in concert. The legendary band going to be coming out with an album in November. New songs from Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey. Cannot wait to hear that. Vermont news, we've got the state prisoner housed in Mississippi who's dead after being found unresponsive in his cell. 39-year-old Christopher Chase. He's from the Northeast Kingdom. The man that was serving a 20 years to life sentence for the 2008 killing of his girlfriend, Sarah Bragdon, in Guildhall, Vermont. He was in a general population area at the privately run Mississippi prison at the time of his death. That was in the news this morning. We've got the state of Vermont receiving over $9 million from the federal government to help track and prevent opioid abuses in Vermont. Money's going to be going to the Department of Health over the next couple of years and used to support comprehensive statewide response to the overdose crisis and to strengthen prevention efforts. So says Senator Patrick Leahy, who helped secure that money. We'll see how things are going to unfold there. It's going to be interesting, and we'll talk more about it here on Aired Out for sure. We got state police investigating still an armed robbery of a Subway restaurant in Lyndonville. We had a man go in covering his face and was displaying a can of, looked like pepper spray, demanded cash from the clerk. He got away, and the state police in the St. Johnsbury Barracks are still looking for him, and they're asking folks to check out their Facebook page and website for the surveillance video to see if you recognize him. Big crash in Colchester, 2 people injured last night, Route 7, not too far from the Milton border. I'm not sure if you heard about it, but everybody is okay from those injured, but okay, which is good news. Red Sox, they fell behind 5-zip. The 5th inning went on to lose 6-5 to the Twins at Fenway. Rick Porcello gave up all 6 runs. Looks like Sox and Twins going to tangle again tonight at Fenway. The forecast should be just right for that. Patriots Week 1 preparations continuing today. They open the season Sunday night at home against the Steelers. The holdout, by the way, for Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott could soon be over. ESPN saying both sides are close to a deal. Zeke's been training on his own. Cowboys are going to host the Giants on Sunday. So there's a little bit of what's going on. Hey, Thunder Road now officially celebrating its 60th season of racing, following its oldest event, one that began in the track's inaugural season in 1960. They've just announced that the 41st Coca-Cola Labor Day Classic has been rescheduled for Saturday, September 14th, 5 o'clock. And, of course, this was postponed this past Sunday following the on-track accident that occurred during qualifying. So as part of the rescheduling, looks like Thunder Road's Barry Granite Association Championship Night has been moved to Sunday, September 22. However, the post-race pit party that was scheduled for Championship Night is going to remain on September 14th as part of the Labor Day schedule. So much of it needs to be completed, but several qualifying races are still on tap for, let's see, the Late Model Tour and Lenny's Shoe and Apparel Flying Tigers. They're also going to be followed by the Labor Day Classic 200, the 50-lap Flying Tiger feature, and the 50-lap Burnett Scrap Metals Road Warrior Challenge. All general admission tickets and pit bracelets from September 1st are going to be honored at the makeup date. And if you are unable to attend on the 14th, you can mail your ticket or your bracelet to the Thunder Road ACT office for a full refund. It's got to be postmarked prior to the 14th, though. Keep that in mind and help us out and spread the word. So, again, the Coca-Cola Labor Day Classic going to get underway at 5 p.m. Saturday, September 14th. Pits at noon, front gates at 2, and the event's going to be followed by that post-race pit party featuring the 40th U.S. Army Band Iron Sights. All right? We'll get this up on Facebook, too, but want to let you know about it right now. I have with me tonight on Aired Out a guy that we're going to air out who I'm so excited about. From Wolcott, Vermont, our Thunder Road late model driver of the number 86 Toyota Camry. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Whew, we got him. Marcel Gravel. So glad you're here, buddy.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I'm glad I could get on.
I just met you a couple of minutes ago, which happens every now and then in this podcast. I'll get folks that'll walk through the door, and I meet them, and 5 minutes later, here we are on camera getting to know you.
Absolutely. There's no better way to do it, right?
That's right. That's right. Man, we have so much to talk about. Can we talk about how you did this past Sunday? How were things going?
We were running our backup car this weekend. We got in a crash on the last Thursday night event of the year, and so we had to run a backup car. And actually, it was performing, way better than we expected it to. And I think we're gonna have a really good shot at the 200. We're gonna have to start pretty deep, but the car was good, and, that's all you can ask for is to have a good, fast race car. But I just want everybody to know we're thinking about Dean and Jonathan, the 2 officials that were struck by that Tiger car, and I hope that they, they heal well and we see him in the pit soon. But I think when we do go back racing, we're going to be good to go.
Yeah. You know what's amazing about the camaraderie with the drivers up there, all divisions, is they were so protective of those two individuals after this accident happened. Protective in the sense of let their families absorb and process what's happened and give them the privacy to get through what they need to get through instead of telling the story and talking about it publicly on Facebook, which, of course, rumors can spin and things can get disjointed so quickly. So it's really cool that all you drivers up there seemed like you were part of their family.
Right.
Really.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially Dean Gallison. Dean's been there before I was even there, and I actually joke with him. I call him Grandpa Dean. He's just like, he's a part of the family, Even Jonathan, he's new. He's a newer official, but still, he's going to be there someday too. And we're concerned for both of them, obviously, but when it happens to people you got to respect, I know Dean's wife, Tina, you got to respect what she wants to do. She's an official there too, and try to let them handle it how they want to handle it and try to keep it out of all the media and everything and hope that they just heal how they're supposed to heal.
We do that in a small town.
Right.
And I was kind of wondering, and I saw it in the paper today where they were naming the officials, which I wasn't sure how much longer it would be before they did.
Right.
But, obviously you and I would have respected that if they hadn't on the show tonight. Did you get a chance to how did you find out that this happened?
We were at the trailer. We were making adjustments on my race car, and we heard a really loud bang, which normally you don't hear at racetracks when cars hit the wall. It's kind of just a thing. And a big crowd just congregated to the pit entrance, when it happened. So, I mean, if a race car just hits a wall, that happens, that happens every Thursday night, and people cheer, and there was none of that. And, then you kind of were just talking about it, like, rumors start, coming around the pits because, like,
right away.
Immediately. It happened 15 seconds later, they're already talking about it. And me and my guys chose to respect the situation that was going on. We stay at our trailer.
Yeah.
They're going to tell us what they want us to know.
Right.
And thankfully, it wasn't any worse than we thought originally.
Right.
It wasn't worse than we originally thought. When you
Correct.
see a helicopter, land in the infield at Thunder Road, it's never a good thing. But thankfully, it worked out. I know it's crazy to say, but the best that it could have for what potentially could have happened.
Oh, without a question. So I know that one of the gentlemen was released from the hospital. One is still there.
Yeah, I don't know which one, so I would hate to say, because obviously, like, you said, you don't want to say anything you don't know. I hope they both get out soon. I know they're both going to need some patching up, but hey, as long as it's fixable stuff, that's good.
Let's talk about you. How's the season been so far? We're going to talk about your history and how you got started, but how has this year been so far for you?
This year started out, just how we wanted it to. Really, we went into it. We prepped a lot for this year, especially my fourth year, and we really thought this year was going to be the year, to go after the title. And man, the way it started out, it looked like that. Our first 9 races, I think we were on the podium, 6 times. We got third in the Memorial Day race. That's a 150 lap race. That's a tough race to podium in, with all those big dogs there and everything.
That's right.
And we got a win at Speedway 51, and we're second in points over there. And this last month, man, we just have been struggling. And unfortunately, we've slipped a little bit. But our season's been really good. There's a lot of people who would gladly trade seasons with me, I'm sure, so I try to reflect on just the positives of it. But it's been a really good year, and I just hope for these last, big events, Labor Day and Melt Bowl and everything, we can get back to where I know we can be.
How the hell did you get to become a late model driver?
A lot of work. I know that most people think that I had it pretty easy, but I can promise you it was a lot of work. Started there. Dad was racing, I'm probably 2-3 years old, and, just go watch. Loved it. I mean, I was there all the time.
Local boy.
Oh, yeah. And I started racing when I was 7.
At Thunder Road.
Yes, sir.
Go-karts.
Yep. We used to race on the big track. So, like, they have that little track that the kids race on now, but we used to race, right on the big quarter mile. And I wanted to start at 6. I think Mom thought that was too early. But we got out there at 7, and, it's been crazy ever since. I'm 23 now, and we've been doing it. That's all I really know how to do. That's what we do. And it's been an awesome ride, and that's how I've gotten to where I am. I started, you got to start at the bottom. I think not enough people know that, but
Sure, you really do. How do you remember how you felt as a little boy getting on that track? Were you scared? Were you intimidated? Were you nervous? Were you excited? Did you look forward to it?
I looked forward to it. I begged him to let me race probably since I was like 5, because if you could get out there, you wanted to get out there. And I think just because I had been around it so much, like I don't mean it in an arrogant way at all. It didn't intimidate me because like I knew that was what I wanted to do. I had just been waiting. I know that sounds crazy. You're 6 years old. How long have you really been waiting? But when you've been around it since you were like a baby, it's just something you want to do. And I knew I wanted to do it, and it really excited me. And man, I can still remember it. I really can.
How was Mom and Dad's reaction to this? I mean, you said Mom maybe tapped the brakes a little bit on 6, but were they excited were they supportive of you and excited that you wanted to take it to the next level?
Oh, absolutely. Parents, number one support system, and it's ranked in 2 different ways for me. My father is in the garage probably right now working on my late model, and we normally work on that thing 4 or 5 days a week, at night. Not all day, but he's got jobs.
And you have a job.
And I have a job, yeah. And Mom, totally the emotional supporter, at the racetrack, doesn't miss races. If I get frazzled and I need to be calmed down, Mom's right there. Mom and Dad, biggest supporters, obviously since the beginning, being my mom and dad. But
sure,
they've done everything they could for me to help me get where I am right now.
Wow. Good network of friends?
Yeah, I kept it pretty small when I was younger, though. I was focused on going to the racetrack, and my friends were focused on playing t-ball, and
interesting.
And I wasn't. I played sports, but I was never passionate about them. I played them all the way up through, but I raced. That was what I did. I was probably one of the only kids from my school that raced, and thankfully I met friends, and some of my best friends are from the racetrack now. But that's pretty much where I met them all. I didn't associate with a lot of the kids I probably went to school with.
Did you shift? Tell me about how you shifted gears as a little boy, getting out of the go-kart and into the Warriors, I'm guessing.
Street stocks.
Street stocks.
Yeah, the Warriors kind of took a little hiatus there, so we kind of had to go right into the street stock.
Ouch.
Yeah, well, it was good, because, you're better off to start there. Start a little bit above the Warrior, because the Warrior, I knew I wanted more from it, The Warrior guys, they do a fantastic job, and I love watching their races. I watch them every week.
You know those boys.
They beat around out there, and they have a good time with it.
Yeah.
And I knew that I always wanted a little bit more of the competitiveness that the street stocks brought, but we pretty much had to get done go-kart racing because my age was getting close.
Legs were getting long.
They were, and I got done when I was 14. I think I could have ran one more year, but we won back-to-back championships at Thunder Road, and I felt like we proved what we needed to prove in the go-karts, and my dad was still racing, so we took a couple years off till I got my driver's license, and as soon as I did, right in the street stock we went. So,
wow,
it was fun.
Mom and Dad helping with, and how old were you then?
When?
Getting into the street stock?
16.
16?
Yep.
So Mom and Dad obviously helping to write some checks.
Well, that was, believe it or not. So Dave Manning, I'm sure he's not watching this, but my father had a friend, Dave Manning. He had 2 street stocks, and they were for sale. And I asked him, I said, hey, Dave, how much you want for these street stocks? I was like 16 years old, working like 12 hours a week somewhere, not making any money. And he's like, I'm asking $4,000 for them. And I'm like, oh, damn. I'm
for
gonna,
both?
Yeah, but one of them wasn't complete.
Right.
One of them is complete, So I'm like, oh, boy, doesn't look like something I'm going to do. But like I said, he's a family friend. He's like, but for you, he's like, I'd sell them to you for $2,000. And I'm like, well, I might be able to pull that off,
Yeah,
So
of course.
I knew some people, someone who has always helped my career get started, Pete Fecto. I'm sure that a lot of people know Pete from racing.
Pete.
And, yeah. He owned a garage, so I called, and I'm like, hey, Pete, I want to, start racing. I was like, I don't know if you'd be willing to help me buy the cars, but if you would, we'll get your name on it. Yeah, for sure. So I got him and got a couple family members, kick you $100, $200. Dave didn't care about having it all up front. He just knew I wanted to race. And
ooh, that's a good friend.
We got him $500 here, $500 there. I got close to the end of paying it off, and he was doing firewood, and he's like, hey, you come up, you work for me this weekend.
Call it even.
We'll call it even.
Damn.
So Mom and Dad didn't even have to write one check for the first street stocks, thankfully.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was pretty proud of that, but I certainly didn't do it all on my own. I had a lot of support.
Yeah. What are some of your hobbies? What do you do? You're 23.
Yep.
Where do you live?
I live in Wolcott, Vermont. It's about 15 minutes outside of Morrisville.
Beautiful town.
Yep. And I hunt, I do hunt because normally racing is wound down by then. And other than that, man, I just spend every day getting ready for the next race, and I spend every winter getting ready for the next season. And that's kind of just what we've been doing for the last 10, 15 years since I've been old enough to help on my dad's or do my own.
And you work at Hannaford's.
Yep, I work at Hannaford's. I'm the assistant produce manager there. I've been there for 5 years now. I took a break. I was gone for probably a year or two, maybe not quite 2, but I figured out that just because it's a grocery store doesn't mean you can't have a career at it.
Of course.
And if you work hard at something, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. And
Man, that's like
they treat me well.
such a great life lesson right there.
Right. So I've been there a while, and I hope to take the next step there soon. I think I'm close, and we'll see how that goes.
You ever get ladies coming up and picking up, a head of lettuce or whatever, and look up and say, "You're Marcel Gravel."
I believe it or not, that has happened. It happened with a little girl, probably I don't know, a month or 2 ago. Her mom looked at me and was like, "Hey, she wants to ask you a question." And I was like, "Okay." She was probably 7. She's like, "Do you race at Thunder Road?"
Wow.
And I was like, "That is cool right there." It's like
Dude,
you
there's
feel like a
nothing better.
celebrity for a second, and it's like, holy cow, I'm important to somebody else.
Yes. And a little kid at
A little
that,
kid
which
at
is
that,
even
right.
better.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's so cool.
It was very cool. I texted my dad right away, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm famous. Just so you know, a 7-year-old thinks I'm famous."
Where'd you go to high school?
People's Academy.
Yeah?
It's in Morrisville. Yep.
Yeah.
And I went to middle school there, and I went to high school there.
And you graduated in
2014.
in 14.
Yep.
So Hannaford's during the day, wrench turning at night.
Yes, sir.
At least 5 nights a week turning wrenches.
Lately, it's been, and when I say that, we're not out there from 6 to midnight, but
Yeah,
especially with 2 late models, we have 2 now, and
right.
my dad's been dabbling. He's going to race. We're going to both race this weekend at Speedway.
Yeah.
And, it keeps you busy. You're out there. We get out there about 7. We do what we need to do. And we come in about 9:30, hopefully.
Yeah.
Probably tonight it won't be that early because we got some damage that I caused to fix before Saturday. But we're always out there. Definitely 3 nights a week. And if you tore it up, you're out there till it's done.
What's a late model cost here? And I should preface by saying I'm not a race aficionado here. I mean, I have great respect, but I don't have a lot of knowledge of
Right.
of racing.
Yeah.
I'm the regular Joe when it comes to this.
I hear you.
I had heard somewhere that late models basically come in a box. They come in a crate. Is that true?
Not necessarily.
Pardon my ignorance here.
No, you're
because-
fine. You can go right down to Pete Dudo's and get a whole late model for Pete will build you a late model, the chassis, all the tin,
Stop
hang the
it.
body. Oh yeah. We don't do that
Right.
because that's big time. But I mean, if you bought like a best of the best ACT late model, and I don't want to overshoot it. I'm not an exaggerator, but I think it's got to be $40,000, $35,000, $40,000. If you bought best of the best, get in it and drive it. Probably from Pete Dudo. It's got to be in there, and that might not even be with the labor because I mean they don't just go right together. They're a lot of work.
Of course.
But my dad, he saves me an astronomical amount of money
How?
because we do it all ourselves. We really pride ourselves in that. So anytime we win, we know, hey, we touched every nut and bolt on that thing. We set it up, we hang the body, we do it all, and that saves me a ton of money. Don't get me wrong, I'm out there doing it too. I'm out there trying to save myself money, but my dad is a super genius when it comes to working on these race cars, and he's always thinking of the next best thing for us and how he can save me some money, and that way we can keep racing longer and go to more racetracks.
Wow. Now, does that include the sheet metal and cutting the sheet metal and the rivets and all that stuff?
That includes it all. Yep. If you were to buy one and just get in it and go, you could send him your seat if you want to. He'll even mount that for you.
Wow. So what happened after street stocks? At one point, did you say, I want to do this. I want to shift gears here.
I ran the first year in the street stocks, and I won my 6th race in. We went out there, got our handicap. I'm not gonna lie and say I drove through the field. We started second. We won a race, and I was like, this isn't hard. I had a little bit of a cocky moment. I was just a young kid. I didn't know any better. I was like, I can do this all the time. And then like the next 17 races went by, and we didn't win again.
You got your ass handed to you?
No, but we were competitive. We were in every race. I finished second. I finished third. It's just like I didn't win again until I won the Labor Day Classic in 20. Oh, I don't remember what year that was, but I won that race again. So I won 2 my first year, and I was like, yeah, all right. It's harder than you would think that it is,
But you got a little taste of victory,
right?
And it tastes good.
It tastes really good. That's why you go down there. And the second year, we didn't have that like winning all the time sort of thing, but we were a points contender the whole year. We were second in the points, third in the points, and that makes it hard when you're having to start 20th and you got 20 laps to get to the front.
Sure.
So consistency became more of a thing over winning and thinking of like the big points picture and everything.
Right. So you ran the street stocks for 2 years, couple wins, third in the final season points on your last
season there.
Your last season.
Yep.
And then you moved to the late models.
Yes.
And you had the Milk Bowl. You were a pole sitter a couple of years ago.
Yep.
17.
Was it 17? Yeah, it must have been my second year. So I think my first year was 16. So yeah, 17 sat on the pole for the Milk Bowl, and let me tell you, man, that was an experience like no other. That's a day you don't forget.
How so? I mean, other than the obvious. I mean,
right.
You're sitting there. You're sitting there. Gentlemen, start your engines. Did you crap yourself a little bit?
Oh man, I don't think I slept that much the night before. Like you hear all these people and they're like, "Oh, I'm never gonna sleep," and it's like, you're gonna sleep until you do something like that, because when we went out there that day, we're a little family team, we're not supposed to be on the pole for the Melt Bowl, much let alone, set a new Thunder Road track record, which we did, and it was just unbelievable. Yeah. It was the first truly unbelievable moment of my life.
12.236.
Yes, sir. That was moving, huh? Man, it was fun.
That's not 12 minutes.
No, that's 12 seconds of holding on. That's what it was.
Getting around that track.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It was awesome 12.236 seconds, I can tell you that.
That's amazing.
It was fun, and I had a lot of people to thank for that. I just got to be the lucky guy that got to get the check on the front stretch and start on the pole.
Wow. I'll tell you a little secret. And it's not that big of a secret, and I'll try to find the video and link it up somewhere. And it's a funny video, but a couple of years ago, Mitchell J. over at Midstate loaned a sports car that I can't remember what it was, but I think it was like a $60,000 or $70,000 sports car.
There you go.
I don't know why I can't remember what it was, but it was gorgeous.
Right.
And it was brand new.
It better have been.
It was just, unbelievable.
Yep.
And he loaned it to us at the radio station, and Frankie Allen and I were driving around and testing it and having some fun and shooting some video and kind of endorsing Midstate.
Right.
We put a request in to have the gate of Thunder Road unlocked for us. The request was granted.
That's dangerous stuff.
I've never stepped foot on the track, okay? The closest I've ever been is the other side of the fence.
Right.
And we drove up there at a prearranged time and day. And it had been raining a little bit, so the track was a little wet. Not good.
Scary business.
A little bit. And, I don't know how to do this.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, right.
At all. So we went through the gate and we got onto the track, and the guy that unlocked the gate for us, and we won't name names.
That's probably a good idea.
Said, "You got 8 minutes, and I don't mean 8.5. You got 8 minutes. Go!" And we had helmets. We wore helmets.
Good idea.
Just because you don't know.
No, you never know.
You don't know, and you get having fun. So anyway, we zipped around on the track. But it was funny because we were shooting video, and again, I have the video. I'll send it to you. But in the video, the rain's coming on the windshield, and the windshield wipers are going, and we're on Thunder Road. But damn, the banks!
They're
I mean,
nuts,
for somebody that doesn't know,
yeah,
and for someone who's only always been in the stands or on Bud Hill or whatever, to be able to come down and stand on those banks, to see them from a distance is one thing, but to stand on them,
yeah,
let alone drive a car around them, I was stunned.
they're high.
You don't realize until you get on there.
For sure.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how such a small racetrack could have such high banks. You know,
Yeah.
It's not typical, you know, for them to be that highly banked. I think there's a couple tracks, maybe the Midwest or something like that are banked like that.
Yeah.
But around here, like even Speedway 51 and like White Mountain, they're banked. But
They're banked.
nothing like Thunder Road, you know, the
Right.
high banks.
It's a cereal bowl.
It's something.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So late model, we've shifted now to late models. What are some of your highlights in your career?
From the late model.
Yeah.
Besides we talked a little bit about the pole and the track record and everything, you know, leading the field to green for the Melt Bowl was cool. The win that eluded us for far too many seasons. Oh man, my rookie year, we were leading with like under 10 to go 2 or 3 times, and one time I lost power steering, ended up finishing 13th. There was like 5 to go, and then my brake caliper like bolt wasn't in all the way, so one of my pads came out when I was leading a race one time. So caution came out. I hit the brakes. When I didn't have brakes on one side, had brakes on the other side, and it locked up, and I spun out with like 2 to go. So
oh my God!
Yeah, you're
and of
not
course
kidding,
the crowd,
man.
they may not realize what's happening.
Right? I looked
They're
like a fool.
what the hell is he doing?
Yeah, no, that's what I felt like too.
No.
So when we finally got that win last year, it was a very big, you know, sigh of relief for sure. Like I almost didn't get to enjoy it enough because it was just such a like weight lifted off the shoulders.
Sure.
It's been something I'd been waiting for a long time. Felt like I deserved it long before I actually got it, but once we finally got it, it was just like a wicked sigh of relief.
And you got up on the podium during the Governor's Cup too, right?
Yep, when Kyle Busch was there, we finished 3rd. I thought for sure, man, that we were going to steal that one. We led most of the second half. We took the lead on like lap 90. I think we still were leading on lap 132, and we had a caution. And Bobby Therian ended up being the champion that year. He restarted outside of me, and he gave me the business, man. He had a good car that day, and he drove by me, and Trampus got around me, and we ended up 3rd still. You know, that's still a pretty big achievement in a big race, you know, that's prestigious in this state, and definitely a highlight for sure.
And then this past Memorial Day Classic, 3rd.
Yes, yep, we ended up inheriting the 3rd place after a post-race tech infraction, but hey, it's still a trophy, and it was still a big one, so we like that. That one was good because we came from a long ways back in that race, and we were close to getting 3rd anyway.
Yeah.
So once we finally got it, you know, there shortly after the race was over, it was awesome to get that for sure. A good way to start off.
3rd in the Fall Brawl 151.
Yeah, that's at Speedway 51, and we started deep in that race too. We started about 18th, and we got up there, and we were dicing it up at the end. I had to use too much of my tires to get to where I was at, so I couldn't really contend for the win. But you know, another prestigious event that we were right there, and you know, it's happened to us quite a few times. We've been right there, and one of these times for one of these big ones, we're gonna get over the hump.
Milk Bowl pole sitter.
Yep.
Current track record holder, 7th and 9th place finishes in the final season points in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, last year we slipped a little. We slipped a little at the end. We didn't finish it as strong as we needed to, and we slipped to 9th. But hey, you know, top 10 is a top 10 in points, and like I said, there's a lot of guys that would gladly take 9th in the final points, you know, so
Of course.
it's nothing to hang your head about. It's a very competitive racetrack.
Emotions run so high when you're driving.
Yep.
If things are going very well and you're driving very well and something goes wrong with the car, not your fault, how pissed do you get at Dad?
I never get pissed at him because I know that if it was in his control, it wouldn't have happened. You know, he very rarely makes mistakes. And sometimes you just have part failures, man. You know, stuff
Shit happens.
It's only gonna, yeah, exactly. You know, that brake caliper that day, it was either gonna fall out with 2 to go, or it could have fell out on the first lap. But
Right.
it was cool, 48 laps out there in front. You know, so stuff happens. You know, human error.
Yeah.
I don't think it was. You know, it just broke, and I'll never hold it against him. He puts in, you know, way too much work for me to hold something against him, especially when I don't think it was his fault anyway. You know, and he gives me good race cars all the time. So
When you speak, who's got the earbud in? Who's hearing you?
they all hear me. We have radio that all my team guys can hear me. So everybody, when I push the button on my steering wheel, if I do complain, which I do complain sometimes, believe it or not, they all hear it. Even my mom, we bought her a headset, so now she gets to hear it too. We just don't let her talk as much, but I get to complain.
She could talk back.
Oh yes, she could.
So
talk.
she could pipe right in and say, "Honey, on your way home, pick up a gallon of milk."
Right? Yeah, she could. She could be like,
could do that.
MJ, get your crap together out there.
Yes.
You know, we're falling back, and she might do that one of these times. So she just hasn't yet.
How hot can you get?
Oh man,
Is there language flying out of your gums
yeah,
or what?
yeah. I mean, I've had a couple of moments. One moment, especially this year, that I'm extremely unproud of. You know, but and I've apologized to the person since. It's just unfortunate. It happened to be one of my best friends within the late model division that it happened towards, and I acted extremely out of line, and I realized that there afterwards. But it's such a competitive sport. You spend all this money, and sometimes it just overcomes you, and you're not proud of it. But, yeah, it happens from time to time. You know, everybody's human. You get a little mad.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you put so much time and money and energy and hope
Right.
and passion and heart and everything in this.
Exactly. And it's hard, you know, sometimes when you get stuffed in the fence and you got a lot of stuff to fix.
Yeah.
It's no fun.
Right. So there are definitely times where 1 step forward, 3 steps back.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that is racing, you know. It's part of it. When I was younger, I don't think I fully understood it. I was like, come on, you know, this is just supposed to be all sunshine and rainbows. I'm spending all this money.
Of course.
And we're putting all this time in, and, you know, that's just part of it. And as I get older, thankfully, I think my attitude gets a lot better towards it, you know. It could always be worse. And that's what we try to say, you know. Instead of running 10th, you could be running 11th. So it could always be worse, and we try to stay as positive as we can.
Who's your NASCAR driver?
You know, I'm kind of I was in between for a little while, but Matt DiBenedetto, underdog guy, when the year started and he went to the 95 car, I was like, you know what? I'm going with Matt DiBenedetto this year. And he almost got that win at Bristol. That would have been huge. It had a great car in the 500, and he's a guy I respect because I think he works really hard. Not that all the NASCAR guys don't work fairly hard, you know.
Of course.
But I think that he takes it to the next level to ensure that he does, you know, what he can with what he's given. And I really respect the heck out of Matt DiBenedetto. So he's my guy right now.
Anyone else?
I respect Kyle Larson's mad driving talent, just flat, raw skill. You know, he is just an absolute animal on the wheel. And I dig his driving style. It's fun to watch on TV.
Any of these boys that you see, NASCAR drivers that come unglued and get pissed and start, you know, visibly displaying that. Do you have a little bit of understanding where they're coming from?
I think so, you know, because you see, you know, if somebody gets ran in the fence on TV, you know, it's no different than if you get ran in the fence at Thunder Road. It's just on a bigger scale. And a lot of people, at times, you'll hear people, they'll be like, well, I mean, you know, he still had a good day. I don't know why he's complaining. And it's like, when you think about it, it's their job, you know. When I go to the grocery store, it's my job. Well, when Kyle Busch goes to a racetrack, it's his job to win. You know,
Sure.
If he doesn't win, he's pissed off about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he could be a little happier sometimes, you know, because you're getting paid millions of dollars to race a race car.
Amen.
Don't get me wrong.
Amen.
But I understand the frustration, you know, but they put that camera on you for 20 seconds. At least fake it for all of us that got to go to work tomorrow.
Exactly. Great point. Although it might be nearly impossible to contain it, you're right.
Right. Yeah. And I'm glad, you know, they have to show emotion sometimes.
Sure.
Absolutely. You know, they're going to get pissed off
They're
and they're
human.
going to act out. They got to do that. But, you know, when a guy like Kyle Busch has 200 NASCAR wins to his credit already, I think that if you run second at Darlington or third or wherever he ran, you could probably just thank M&M's and shut up about it.
Go crack a cold beer in your
Whatever
trailer.
you want to do.
Be happy.
Exactly. You know, but I respect the competitive fire that he has. I do. Kyle Busch, he's an extreme competitor.
That's
so.
interesting. Favorite drivers?
Yep.
NASCAR drivers that have come to Thunder Road, which one were you most excited about sharing the track with?
I've shared the track only one year. They didn't do a Cup guy. He didn't come, so I was a little disappointed with that. I raced Kyle. That was the year that I finished third in the Governor's Cup, and I was the most excited about that because at the time I was involved with TRD, and Kyle's a big Toyota guy, and I thought it was my my last ditch effort. I was like, maybe if I go out here and I beat Kyle Busch, and I'm like telling my TRD guy, hey, I just beat Kyle. I didn't think I was going to become a Cup driver overnight by any means, but I definitely didn't think it would hurt.
Sure.
And in that race, me and Kyle actually got to race. I raced side by side with him for, 10 laps or so.
Did you know he was next to you?
Oh, yeah.
How?
Dad comes across the radio, and he's like, hey, man, 51 inside. Get after it. That was exactly what he said. That's all my dad said, and we went to business.
No way.
It was fun, You're racing a guy whose job is to race.
Did you get after it?
Absolutely.
What happened?
We passed him, That's what you had to do. He snookered me and got underneath me. It was a nice move.
Was Pops screaming in your ear?
Absolutely. When he thinks he's got to get me going, he's not shy about it.
Really?
And you got to be, So I got up on that wheel and we did what we had to do. And racing Kyle Busch, I gave him a ton of respect,
How did Kyle Busch finish that Governor's Cup?
He was gonna finish a lot better than he did. I will say that. I think he finished out back because I'm pretty sure with like 10 to go, somebody put him in the fence.
Yeah.
And he just didn't come back out.
I remember hearing about that.
But he was all the way back up to 6th, I think, at the time. He was driving through that field. So
yeah.
It's unfortunate that happened, but he did a wicked job. He's a talented race car driver.
Tell me about some of the other drivers in your division that you have a relationship with.
Yeah. I think it's important to have relationships with almost all of them. Everybody's not going to like you, but at the end of the day, when we go to that racetrack, we're all just normal people that are racing late models against each other, And I have some really good friends in my division, guys, that you park with every week. And Daryl Morin, he's probably my, good buddy in that division, I really like Daryl and his father. And that whole group of guys is just great, And Tyler Cahoon, he drives a 38 car. Tyler and his father, Stacy, two of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, And at the end of the day, if you race clean with those guys, they're going to respect you and they're going to have a good time with you. So I really like a lot of guys, but those two, especially stick out in my mind for sure.
What's up with Paco?
Paco?
Yeah.
I like Paco. He's a nice guy. He's so much different than like what you normally see at the racetrack. And I respect that, I like his attitude. He's very energetic. I like Paco a lot. He's a nice guy, and I hope he gets that first win. I think he won the non-winners race a couple weeks ago, so now it's time for him to win a 25-lap feature, not a 19-lap feature. And I'll be just as excited for him as he will be when he wins that finally.
Joey Pole's going to be coming in here pretty soon.
Joey is?
Yeah.
No way.
He's coming in, I can't memorize the date, but sometime in October.
Joey Pole, that guy is one of the most respected ones, of the guys that are still around that still do it, and he is a good talent. Joey, he's a wicked wheel man. So
I remember working at Froggy when all of a sudden everybody just started talking about Joey Pole Warsick.
Quite the name, too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Is that Polish? What the hell is that?
I'll
find out.
What it is. You're going to need to before
I'll
you
air
talk
it
to him. Is he going to sit in this seat?
He's sitting right there.
That's going to be
coming
insane.
in.
I'm going to text him.
Text him.
I'm going to be like, I warmed your seat for you.
Blow it up.
JD's ready.
Yeah, pass some gas
he's
in that
researching
seat
your
right
name.
there. But he's a decent guy.
Oh, yeah, he's a wicked nice guy. And actually, I have gotten to know him a lot better because my girlfriend, Megan, her father actually works on Joey's pit crew.
Yeah.
On the pass tour.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to know Joey quite a bit now, and he's a super nice guy. And he's got his girlfriend or fiance Steph, and they just had a kid, and he's starting his life, and I respect that. But he still comes around and races with us, and he's still one of the best. Whenever that 97 rolls in, he's there.
I don't remember what it was. It's all just a big fog for me. But there was some event, and I know I should know, and I will know before Joey Pole comes in here. But there was some race that it was a huge race that he either won. That when I was working at Froggy, it was huge. It might have been the Milk Bowl. I don't know. And then there was another time when he was he was flipped a few times, I think.
Oh, really?
It was pretty intense.
It wouldn't shock me if he's won every big race there is to win, because that guy, I know he's won the Melt Bowl. He won a race. It was called the International 500 at Airborne. He won at Loudon a bunch of times. So you better do your research, because
I will.
he's got some accolades.
It might have been that Airborne race.
Yeah, probably. That was a big race, and that trophy was taller than he was, I think.
That might have been it.
Probably.
You've been over to Airborne. What's that like? You like that?
I've never I didn't get to drive it before it became dirt. I've watched it a couple times, and it was a track that I hoped I would get to try, and I just never got to try it. And they run all dirt divisions there now, so I'll probably never get to try it. But it's a cool track to watch at. Yeah.
What kind of injuries have you had?
From this? Oh man, there was one time, and I don't want to sell it, but something happened in my neck. I crashed really hard in my street stock one time before I had the Hans device. A guy spun out, and we went head on. I mean, I barely saw him, and then I hammered him. And there's, things in between your neck. And when my neck overextended,
the vertebrae?
Yeah, but, when it came down, it, crushed them and, broke them down, inside of my neck. And I was in a neck brace for, a month.
So you had, a compressed vertebrae.
Yeah, and it took two of them and compressed them, and there was some obviously medical term that I'm not gonna know, but
sure.
And I thought I was
herniated.
Maybe, I don't know what it was, but all I know is it was bad and it hurt. It did hurt. It was quite the wreck. I hit my shield actually ended up breaking off my helmet because it hit my steering wheel. So I thought I was gonna miss a couple races, but I did what the doctor said so I could get back out there. But other than that, I've not really had any injuries. I don't want to make that one sound minor, because it certainly wasn't. But thankfully, we do what we can to make sure I'm safe in that thing.
Yeah. Repairs. I would guess that you've had some pretty hefty ones
to the race car.
To the car.
Oh yeah. Oh man, yeah.
What is it? I mean, what is an expensive dent?
I just had a potentially expensive dent. Whenever you bend the front clip or the rear clip on an ACT late model, it's the front part of the car in front of the center section. Where we sit is the center section. So then you have the front clip that has all the geometry built into it and everything. And if you bend one of those, normally you got to go to a jig, and most of the jigs are in Maine, with distance race cars or TJ Brackett Motorsports and Crazy Horse and all that sort of stuff. I did bend one my rookie year, and we had to go to TJ, and I think when it was all said and done, it's a new clip, some new uppers, lowers, all that sort of stuff. We got out of it pretty good. TJ treated us pretty good. I think it's $1,500, $1,800, something like that. But I mean, if you rip the front off one of those things, it's gonna cost a couple $1,000s, depending on how much damage you do, for sure.
So how does your dad know how to tweak a car for specs and get it all dialed in just right? How does he know how to do that? So I guess what I'm asking is, do you have to go to school to learn how to tune a car just right?
My dad was an auto mechanic for many years, but they don't teach you anything about race cars and auto mechanicness. He can fix anything on a regular car with that degree,
Right.
But he just has, even if he wasn't my dad, I still think that if I had met him, he would have the highest work ethic of any person that I've ever met. And he just refuses to let anything beat him, He will learn anything. He studies all the time. We'll be at home watching TV. He's on the iPad, looking up stuff. And
really,
he is mainly self-taught because he is cheap. So when you
have to work hard.
When you're cheap, you have to work hard. And that's certainly not a knock on him, because he has saved me a ton of money, like I said before. But when you want it bad enough, you'll do whatever it takes to learn it. And that man works endlessly. Before we left for Richmond, my dad was probably for 2 weeks. We went to race Richmond with ACT, and my backup car wasn't done yet. And he would get up at 5, and he would work in the shop probably till 7:15. He would drive an hour to his job, which is in Littleton, New Hampshire. He would work from 8 to 5. He would get home at 6. We would eat. We would go out at 6:30, and we would come in probably midnight. That was for 2 weeks straight. I mean, I was out there with him, but he's out there killing himself. putting in all that work, and just because that's just the kind of guy he is. He wants to save money, and he wants to know that he did it himself. And
Isn't that amazing?
it makes you respect it a lot more. I wish that more kids had the opportunity to see their parents do that sort of stuff. And I think that often a lot of adults don't think I respect it or don't think I appreciate it. And thankfully, the two adults that matter know that I do.
Wow, well said, my man. Wow.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Wow. Have you ever been to the Invitational? Have you ever been on Loudon?
Loudon? Nope, I never got to go. The last year they did it, my dad sat me down and we had a very, talk about it, and we didn't think I was ready yet. They're going 130 over there, whatever it is, and we didn't think the time was right. And at the time, I think I was a little upset. I wanted to go do it, but I knew that he wasn't doing it for selfish reasons. He was doing what he thought was best for me, and not to go over there and participate in that event. And honestly, I'm glad we didn't go, because the last year they ran it was a joke. I think they got they shortened the race in half, and they wrecked half the field. And I was glad to be sitting at home watching all the wrecked race cars, and mine was at the shop safe. That's what I was happy about.
What's your pipe dream? What's something that you fantasize about?
My pipe dream, unfortunately, even though I'm only 23, is kind of already came and went. I went down south. I said, I'm going to make a run at this NASCAR thing. I can do it. I was like, I got it. I got the drive. I want to do it. And so we found Camper World Truck Team, and I paid some money I fundraised, to do this trip. And I went down and I tested a truck, and they were like, yeah, you're good, but here's what it's going to cost, And right then in South Carolina was the test. I realized I was never going to be a NASCAR driver, and I was probably about 18, and that was the pipe dream, man. I said I got to go south, and we got to try to do what we can do.
But you ran a truck.
I did. That was fun. I can tell you that for free.
How fast you go?
I don't know, honestly. We weren't at a NASCAR sanctioned track. We were at a smaller track that you can just rent, and we got to just go out there and shake it down and run some laps, and it was really cool. But I realized, shortly thereafter that me or my parents definitely didn't have what it was going to take for me to make it. I talked to I'll blow your mind with some numbers real quick. I don't know if you've ever heard of the ARCA Menard series. It's a touch below the NASCAR K&N series, but they've combined them recently. Well, I talked to a race team. I won't name it because, this was, private numbers that they gave me about it. But I talked to a team, top of the line team. I was like, hey, what's it going to cost for me to get in an ARCA car? Because that's where national TV and everything. And they were like, well, let me work it up and let you know. So they called me back. They're like, so to run, I don't remember what the tracks were, 3 short tracks, Salem and maybe Iowa or something like that, and one other track. They're like, it's going to be $140,000, and that's with a test. And I was like, have a good day. Click. And I realized right then my NASCAR dream was over, so I better start focusing more on my late model, and that's what we did.
Wow.
So Marcel's pipe dream has kind of came and went. So Marcel's new pipe dream is be king of the road someday.
That's so interesting. And I wonder what other drivers in your division have the fantasy of taking it beyond Vermont.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of them. And, it's unfortunate that the sport has kind of went that way. It's sort of turning into F1. F1, your dad's got $10 million. Well, you're going to drive an F1 car, and racing now, unfortunately, is pretty much no different over here, and I understand that's the way that it is, and I definitely, I don't pout about it. I'm happy with what I got. I used to pout about it, and then I realized it didn't do me any good. So I'm pretty lucky that I got what I have, and I'll appreciate what I got and do the most with it that we can.
Kudos to Mom and Dad. As you say, they're pretty much the backbone to.
Kudos to them for not going bankrupt and letting me run that ARCA car.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, because some parents do that.
Of
They're like,
course.
we'll remortgage the house.
Yeah.
We don't care about life. Here you go, bud.
That's something.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad, great. They sound like great people.
Wicked supportive people, and I think they always will be. Even if I'm still 40 running a late model at Thunder Road, they might be 70, but they'll be there.
Yeah. And it sounds like Dad is really the one that's making it possible. But aside from Dad, you've got sponsors that make it possible for you.
Right.
Without them.
See, Mom makes it possible, too, because she allows Dad to do all that. So while Mom's in the house steaming about it, she's
Excellent
at least
point.
allowing him to do that. I've realized that as I gotten older.
Excellent point. Because if Mom put the heat enough on
Right.
Dad would stop.
If she was like, listen, Marcel, because my dad's name's Marcel, no working on the race car tonight, then we won't be working on it because she
Yeah.
is the boss.
Oh,
She's the boss.
no question.
She'll watch this. She'll laugh about that. But no, sponsor-wise, could not do it without them. Absolutely. My seasons are almost always funded based on what I get for sponsors, and if we didn't get enough, we weren't going to race all
Period.
the time. Right.
Right.
If we get $5,000, we'll run $5,000 worth of races, and that's just how it is for me. So
Yeah.
I really market myself a ton, and I think it annoys people, but I do what it takes to race, I love to race, so I
Good
do
for
what I
you.
got to do to race. And, can I thank some of them?
Please.
Absolutely. Okay,
You
cool.
kidding?
I'll have to send this to my main one, Justin Gibbs, Tough Country Excavating and Trucking. They're on my polo here. They're my newest one, and they're my primary sponsor this year. And I really had to do some selling on that guy, but he believed in what I was trying to do this year, and I'm glad that he joined me for it. I got Vermont Door Company. They're my secondary. And then I got New England Auto Glass, 48sweat.com. Mike's Tire, Mike Rollins, big supporter of mine for my whole life. Menage Corporations, they support me well too. And Donald Blake Builders, they're one of my new ones this year also. I got a couple new partners this year that I'm pretty excited to see what we can turn it into. So
That's so cool.
it
man.
is very cool.
You are so well spoken.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolute. I mean, you're total natural, and an absolute pleasure to have you in here.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you had
This-
me. It's been fun.
Thunder Road is such an incredible track, and they've done some amazing things up there.
Yeah,
I mean, they really have improved so much
right.
up there. However, without the drivers, without you guys investing the heart, the money, the time, and the sacrifice, there wouldn't be any racing up there.
Yeah, that's
It's all
for
about
sure.
the drivers.
Yeah, and the fan support
And
too.
the fans.
That place fills up almost every
All the
Thursday.
time.
It seems like and I'm glad they come out and support us.
Thanks for coming in here,
No,
brother.
thank you guys for having me.
Please come back, and I wish you all the best. We got the Milk Bowl coming up, the end of this month?
Yes, sir.
Woo!
Big one. Got to get that next check.
Big.
I got the poll check. I'm ready for the winning check.
You getting ready to pucker up and kiss that cow, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. That would be the best kiss of
Highlight?
my life. Don't tell Megan that, but
I
that
won't
would
tell
be.
Megan. I
That
won't
cow
tell
could
Megan.
lick my face, and I'm going to be excited about it.
I love it. My sponsors, Gothier's Quality Grounds and Maintenance in Orange. I just love Jason Gothier. This guy is incredible. Landscaping, mowing. If you need anything done in your yard, retaining walls, you name it, he'll take very good care of you. He comes with my highest recommendation. He makes my lawn look like $1 million. Fontaine Forestry and Millworks of East Montpelier. You see this big slab of wood in front of me with the cherry stripe down the middle. Yeah, that's Mark Fontaine, and he's amazing over there in East Montpelier, just below Bragg Farm. They will do it all. It doesn't matter what it is you're thinking of. They will design it. They'll get that miser fired up, and they'll build your home even. FontaineMillworks.com. My two presenting sponsors, along with Gothier's Quality Grounds and Maintenance in Orange. Also, thanks to Peak Entertainment at peakdj.com, FGB Theaters, the Capitol Showplace Theater, and Paramount Theater. Get ready for the premiere of It Friday night. I'll be there in Montpelier. Hope to see you there. Broadcasting live here on Aired Out. Donnybrook Fight Promotions in Williamstown. Cruise Planners, yourvoyageplanner.com. Donna Sherman's going to be on the show. She's getting ready to book some pretty incredible winter vacations. Actually, she's already extremely busy right now doing just that. And all the gals over here at CW Print and Design, Molly and the rest of the family over there at CW Print and Design in Barrie. Thanks to Tony Campos, CVTV, and, of course, my new producer, Billy Waite. Wicked cool guy. Can't wait to have him in. We'll catch you next time. Be well. Take good care of yourself. And thanks for subscribing, sharing, liking, commenting, all that stuff here on YouTube. I'm JD Green, and this has been another Aired Out.